Ram presents The Canadian Tradition.
Well, on this week's episode, I have the opportunity to bring a good friend of mine from the East Coast to Ontario and introduce him to the world of deer hunting. It's going to make for a great adventure.
The Canadian Tradition is brought to you by Ram, built to serve. Cabela's, world's foremost outfitter. Under Armour, go where you don't belong. Polaris, the world leader in off-road. STIHL, get the job done. Winchester, the American legend. Leupold, be relentless. Toyo Tires, driven to perform. Lund Boats, the ultimate fishing experience. WeatherTech, nothing protects like WeatherTech. And by Ducks Unlimited Canada, our wetlands, our future.
So last year I had the opportunity to bring a STIHL Timbersport athlete in Canada, Marcel Dupuis. Marcel was from New Brunswick and he had hunted in the past when we came out here, had a fabulous time. Marcel was able to take home a nice 8-point buck and show me a thing or two about the underhand chop competition in the world of timber sports. So that was super cool for me. Marcel's a great guy and we had a lot of fun. This year I thought, what a better way to introduce someone new to hunting. And this is one of the things that really gets me excited because I'm so passionate about the outdoors. And when you have the opportunity to introduce that or open that window, let's say, and bring someone new into what we experience pretty well on a weekly basis, I get excited. This week we have Ryan McIntyre. Ryan is another professional athlete in the world of STIHL Timbersports in Canada.
I'm Ryan McIntyre. I live in Truro, Nova Scotia. I'm a professional forester by trade, and my spare time I like to compete in the STIHL Timbersports series and swing axes and have lots of fun cutting wood. When Taylor approached me to come on Canadian Tradition, to be honest, I was a little apprehensive. I'm really not a hunter. I haven't hunted since I was a kid. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized what a great opportunity it was. Get outside my comfort zone a little bit and also kind of connect with my roots. Like I grew up spending time in the woods. We had a family woodlot in Nova Scotia. Spent time with my dad, and eventually that led me to a career in forestry, and ultimately that led me to the sport of timber sports. So it's kind of come full circle and given me an opportunity to come and spend some time with a real pro like Taylor and get out and potentially have an opportunity at shooting my first buck.
Although Ryan works for the outdoor department for the province of Nova Scotia, he hadn't actually taken advantage of what the outdoors has to offer as far as hunting big game. And I thought, you know what, Ryan, why don't we hook up this fall? You can come to Ontario and I'll show you what the world of archery hunting big whitetail deer is all about.
2018 was my third year in the STIHL Timbersports series. I've been competing in logger sports for about 15 years, but only the past 4 or 5 professionally, and as I said, the last 3 in the STIHL series. It's an incredibly demanding sport. It takes precision and power and agility and just everything that goes into any other sport, and an awful lot of training to be able to do everything right, especially when it matters. They're timed events, very short bursts, basically like sprints for the most part. 20, 30 seconds flat out, which doesn't sound like very long, but if you're doing things wrong, you can get pretty gassed. So it's important to be training all the time and focusing on getting better and trying to catch the best guys.
One of the things that really excites me is the world of technology, especially when that can be applied to the outdoors. When I first started hunting, it was a mandatory 2-day course. Nova Scotia actually has the ability for a student to take the hunting course online through the great folks from huntercourse.com. This is one of the provinces that has taken that step forward.
It was a great course, really brought me through a number of important key factors to know before you go out and start hunting, and especially for myself where I haven't spent much time hunting for most of my life.
You could do the course from a tablet, a laptop. It saves your progress on your way through, because being able to designate a full 8 hours can be hard in nowadays lifestyle, but being able to take a course, study it, put it on pause, resume it, study it, and then follow up with a practical portion with an instructor is super, super easy. There's no excuse now not to get your hunting license. Well, Ryan, it's your first day in your camp here, and I'm glad to have you, pal.
Glad to be here. Thanks a lot for the invite.
I love hunting myself, and I've had the opportunity to travel right across Canada over the last 10 years. Best job ever. Something I really take interest in is getting people that's new into the sport or introducing them. I call it a sport. It's more of a lifestyle. I know where my meat comes from, and I think that's a great thing to share with your friends and family, and especially to be a part of that whole process. You've never been on a deer hunt, no big game. So I figured at some point, someday, I'm going to introduce you to what I do.
I appreciate it. It's a great opportunity. It's, taking me outside of my comfort zone a bit, but I'm excited. It seems like really something cool, something new and exciting, so thanks a lot.
If we can share a meal at the end of this trip by the work of your hands, that would be fantastic as well. If not, no harm done. At least you got to spend a couple days out here, and we tried our best. Since Ryan was new to hunting, and we're putting him in a tree stand underneath an archery situation, I really wanted to ensure that he was comfortable with that tool in his hand. A crossbow is a tool that you can put into a beginner's hand. You can show him the ropes. He can get very, very comfortable in a relatively short time frame and feel very confident that he could make a successful and confident shot on a big whitetail if the situation presented itself. So what I'm going to set you up with is a crossbow. It's just like a compound bow, and it's the same principles as you apply to any archery sport that's out there. We're going to want to get that animal relatively close so that we can feel confident we're going to make a good shot. So without further ado, we'll get that unwrapped. Yardages are crucial, so you'll see us always using a rangefinder, 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards. I probably wouldn't shoot past 30 yards. There's not much need to. Those deer are going to be in a tight little shooting window out in front of you. So anything within 30 yards, we'll get you really comfortable shooting that distance, and we'll get in the stand tonight and see what happens. We do have some bad weather rolling in, so maybe you can get it done before the bad weather hits.
I will try.
All right, man. I mean, there's a bit of math involved in archery. You've got a relatively, compared to a rifle, a slower object that's not shooting as far but dropping at a faster rate. That's why knowing your yardages are really important. Basically, your bow will shoot relatively flat, 0 to 20. It'll drop slightly, 20 to 30, but when you get past 30, 40, 50, it drops considerably. You're probably only going to get one shot before that deer takes off. The chances of you getting reloaded, loading another arrow, I mean, that's a lot of movement. So it's basically a one-shot deal.
Okay, no pressure.
And another important thing with all crossbows is we kind of call from each cam inside the string a bear trap. Because if your thumb gets up in that trap and you do pull the trigger, they won't be able to get a fingerprint off that finger for a while.
Good to know.
So keep your fingers out of the bear traps. A lot of good manufacturers have big finger reminders. It makes it virtually impossible for you to get your hands up inside that trigger guard.
Okay.
And just like any type of firearm, only point it at what you're intending to harvest and only click the safety off when you have a shot.
Okay.
Bullseye. Is it a good bow or a good shooter?
I can't take credit for that one. Looks like a pretty nice ball.
All right, well, how do you feel?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good, yeah. Look forward to doing this in the stand.
Yeah, well, we'll spend some time here, probably shoot another 30 arrows just so you're really confident.
Sounds great.
Awesome, man. Ryan had something special in store for me this week. He kind of saw my skill level and knew that, hey, he might not be able to take me in the underhand chop, so he's going to bring a more difficult discipline in the world of steel timber sports, and it's the standing block chop. And this really mimics the older days in forestry where you would have to fell a tree. So you're going to want to chop this block halfway through on the front, chop it through halfway through on the back, completing the chop, and the tree or the log basically topples over. I had never done anything like this. I'm a huge fan of steel chainsaws, don't get me wrong there. I've used those things extensively, but I haven't really done the manual part of timber sports. And Ryan thought, hey, you know what? We're gonna have a little friendly competition, and he was gonna show me the ropes. Are you giving me an inferior axe? You're not giving me your good axe, are you?
Ah, well. I've cut a lot of logs with that axe. That's a good training axe.
You know, those safety socks that we wear, those chain link socks, are they for saving your toe or for locating your toe because you know it's in the little pouch?
It's in the bag.
It's in the pouch. That's probably what it's for, right? I've hit
I would
myself,
know,
but I know
know,
exactly where my toe is.
It's over there.
Yeah.
There you go. Spray paint them orange.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to hit down. Start down or start at the top?
Start from the ground.
Keep your head down, swing slow, don't swing too fast, concentrate on the ball, but don't think about anything.
Eyes on the prize, right there. Nothing wrong with that. It's a good first swing. Taylor, he talked a big game. I think he spent more time chirping me about wanting to beat me in a chop than he did about the hunt. But anyway, we decided we were going to go for a standing block chop, and yeah, he did pretty good. He did pretty good. It's his first crack at it. I coach a bit as well at home. I coach at the college level, and you know, he would have kept up with a few of them. He didn't do too bad, but a little more work. It's no different than shooting, really. It's just time. You got to spend a lot of time at it, and that's the only way to get better. I've been swinging an axe for about 15 years, and there's something new you learn every time you cut a log, and tweaking and finessing and finding those little imperfections that, or in my case, big imperfections, but mainly anything that you can fix to get better and be more accurate.
All right, well, let's
feeling confident.
You go. You got a 20 in your pocket you might want to part with?
Oh yeah, let's absolutely.
20 bucks on it, time trial.
Oh, absolutely.
Canadian Tradition Steel Timber Sports.
Yeah.
Let's get some wood up there and go at it.
All right, you want to go first? You want to set the time to beat?
No, I'm gonna let you go first.
Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go! Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh. Woo!
Oh, buddy. You raced your first standing block log.
What do you say we go have something warm to eat and get out in the tree stand, and maybe next year we'll try my luck at the single buck. This time of year, we're right at the beginning stage of what I would call the rut. Those bucks aren't locked down with does right now. A lot of does may get bred in that latter part of October, the beginning of November, but Ryan picked a great date to come. He's here from November the 10th to November 15th, which historically has just been fantastic. And I've really found that those bucks are active, especially during daylight. You can have the biggest buck on your property, And if that deer's nocturnal, you stand a very small chance at wrapping your tag around them. So being able to capitalize on some great daylight activity is what this part of November is all about.
All right, big thing is safety. And I know some people say like, safety comes third after having fun and looking cool. You're 25 feet up in a tree. These things are called lifelines. So as you climb up, we'll clip you in here. You just keep sliding those up, okay, and then you can tether onto the top. If you fall, that's gonna catch you. Okay, good to go, good luck. Okay. Okay, we got a buck coming in. He's just over 40 yards. Let's just see what he does here. It looks like he's gonna turn away here. He's starting to, oh, he's coming back. He's going towards the feed pile. All right, I'm gonna go for it. Oh, I think I got him good. He hooked right. He just went onto the bushes there. I think I got him. I'm gonna text Taylor. We'll get him over there. We'll track him, but I think it's a good shot. Right on, man. Good job. Just give him a nudge with your foot. Okay. He's ours, buddy. Nice shooting. All right, look at that bow. Nice 8-point.
Not bad at all.
No, man. He's actually a little bit wider than what I thought he was, but.
It's the biggest deer I've ever seen.
Good shooting. Looks like you went through that leg. You had that leg up, but you caught the heart in that lower third. And when you do that, they don't go too far. Well, I tell you, man, I appreciate you coming out here showing me the STIHL Timbersports discipline standing block chop. And we're gonna share an awesome barbecue tonight of marinated tenderloins, and I bet you'll be hooked.
Sounds good to me.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks a lot, Taylor.
All right, man.
Being able to complete this hunt and have Ryan successfully harvest his first whitetail deer, and a heck of a deer at that, a gorgeous 8-point. I was just so elated, and you could see it in his eyes that he was really hooked on this outdoor thing. Having the opportunity to go through the standing block chop and become familiar with another STIHL discipline in the world of timber sports was great. And I think Ryan learned some stuff from this trip. I learned some stuff from this trip, and he will probably be back next year right here. Beautiful November in Ontario, archery hunting the famed whitetail deer.
The Canadian tradition has been brought to you by Ram, built to serve. Cabela's, world's foremost outfitter. Under Armour, go where you don't belong. Polaris, the world leader in off-road. STIHL, get the job done. Winchester, the American legend. Leupold, be relentless. Toyo Tires, driven to perform. Lund Boats, the ultimate fishing experience. WeatherTech, nothing protects like WeatherTech. And by Ducks Unlimited Canada, our wetlands, our future.
Follow The Canadian Tradition on Facebook, and make sure to visit thecanadiantradition.com for news, contests, and show recipes.